Heidi ho, my friends. Welcome to the Ladybug Journals. This is Lori, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Well, today we are going to work on our hidden spine for our little journal. So, here is what you need to do. So, I have here, and as you can see, I've marked what I think is going to be the length. I think. Now, if you'll remember in our last one, I told you I need to trim this little piece. And I want to show you how I need to do that. And darn it, I've just lost my scissors. I hate it when I put something up here. Here they are, right here. When I put something there and then all of a sudden they grow legs. Okay, so if you happen to do like I do, and you think you've got it the right length and you don't, here's the way that you can trim it. So take your little sewing scissors, and I have some that are a little bit smaller, and you put it so that your blade points away, okay? That way you don't damage your book. And you trim like this, okay? So you want your blade pointed away from your book, okay? So I needed to trim there, and I need to trim on the inside of my lace, right here. Now, I'm not going to worry a whole lot about on the inside of my lace because my pages are going to be there, but I don't want a lot of it seen. And it's just this one little spot that I can see it. And I can see it through the lace. And had I had headbands there, I wouldn't worry about it. Right? Come on. I got a big glue blob right there. There. Now, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, as you can tell. And it'll be all right because the pages are going to cover that. Excuse me, hold on. Are going to cover this as we go about it, and so is this. When this goes in, it's going to take care of it. And I can also, if I could get this little piece up off of the lace, I could get it straight. But I can't get this little piece up off of the lace here. And I don't want to right there. Okay. So, what I want to do, since I'm not covering this, I wanted to show you how I came up with this length. So, whenever you're going to put this in your book, okay, you need to make sure that your spine fits within this area, okay? So, you need to stand your book up, and you need to cut this. Remember the widths that we measured? Where did my measurements go? Here. Remember we measured this at 1.5 inches wide? Okay, so I measured this and then I slid it in. So, okay, I slid that in. So this feels a little snug. When I close my book, it feels a little snug. Okay, it doesn't move freely. It's just a little snug. So I think I need to take off a sliver on the side. Before I do that, I want to draw my line all the way across because that's my length, or that's my proposed length. That's my 7 3/4 that I measured. So I've measured down 7 3/4. Okay, this is 7 3/4 from the top to here. And right now, let's get this off of here. And right now, this is 1.5 inches. So, most likely, I'm going to have to take off just a sliver to get this to move freely in there. Okay, so I want to just take my ruler. Now, this is a cork back ruler. And sometimes they work really well, and sometimes not so much. Now, I'm not cutting off that length, which, you know, maybe I should. Maybe that'll help. So let's try it this way, because then it's less length that I have to deal with. And I'm just going to use my my big knife. And if you're going to use these to cut this stuff with, and this is just like the backing off of my watercolor paper. That's all this is. It's the back of my watercolor pad. Make sure you have a sharp blade in it. So take out whatever blade that's in it and put in a new blade. It will cut much easier because these are really thick pads that they put on it. Good gravy. Okay. Now, let's take off a sliver. Now, I'm not real good at slivers. I will tell you that right now. Now, you want to take your blade and you want to point it away from your hand, and you want to hold your ruler down tight, okay? And you want to keep your finger away from the edge of your ruler and away from this. You don't want to put your finger on that. And just slide it. Just slide it. That's all I'm doing is I'm just sliding it down. And I'm holding the ruler down. Now, I have one of those big paper cutters that supposedly will cut through this. I haven't figured out how to use it yet. All right, so let's see if this works. Let's see if my little sliver works. Now, I may have to adjust the length too. And this is just all adjustment at this point. Oh, that little sliver worked just fine. And this was all that I cut off. See, just a sliver. But sometimes the fabric, much better. Now, let's check our length. Okay, so we're going there to there. So, if you can't see where it is, put it over on the paper. Perfect. So my length is perfect. Make sure your blade's all the way down. And when you store it this tip down. Okay, so you retract your blade, store it this tip down. Just in case you don't get your blade down all the way. Trust me on that one. Now, we don't need this. Put it off to the side. So I'm done with my cutting board for now. I can put it away. I want this. I don't want my ruler. But I do want my ink and some stencils. And I want my brush. And I don't want my little scissors. Because what I'm going to do is I want to decorate this up a little bit, because I am going to see this as I'm opening my book. You know, I am going to see this. So I thought I would decorate this. Normally I cover this, but I'm not going to cover this time. So I think I'm going to decorate it. Now, I have decorated pages before in my book, but I've never decorated one of these. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vintage photo and they're both ink, but this one sure looks a lot darker. And I've had this stencil for like over a year now, and I've yet to use it. So it's time to use this big guy. And I want to use these butterflies, but I'm also thinking I want to use that one, or at least part of it. So I have my cereal bag out. Maybe I want to use that. Yeah, I think I want to use that. And I'm just going to use my vintage photo and maybe get like a little splashy splash of it. Let's see. Do we like that? Ooh, I do like that. So maybe we'll get a little bit of that, and we'll just kind of move this around on it. Just to give it something, you know, so it's not plain. And we'll move this around, get some different parts of it. Oh, I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. Yeah, I think we're going to have to use this stencil a little more often. Ooh, I really like that, you guys. Maybe here in the middle, we're going to put some of this over top of that. Oh, look at that. That's kind of neat looking. I do like that. Now, because this is ink on our stencil, we're going to use a baby wipe, and we're going to wipe this off real quick to keep it clean. And we're going to be gentle around all the little pieces, like that. Okay, get back in there. Okay, put that over there. Oh, I really do like that. Now the butterflies here, I think I want to line them up right. Oh wait, I have another idea. Where'd that other stencil go? You know, do things like this happen on your workstations? Do they? You have something in your hand. Oh, here it is right here. You have something in your hand. You're ready to use it. And then all of a sudden, whoops and wow, it disappears into Never Never Land. Okay, I think I want to use these little pieces of lavender. And I want to maybe put some like this. And I'm going to be wild and crazy, you guys. I am going to be wild and crazy. I know, call me crazy. Call me crazy. I have a light. I have that one. But I don't want it that dark. Look at there. We're going to try that one. Yeah, see, I don't want them real dark. We're going to use that light purple. And I'm using the Memento Lavender. Seems appropriate, doesn't it? Now, let me make sure you can see. Yep, you can see. And I'm using the brush for the lavender. And I'm just going right over it. So let's see if we can see it. Oh no, it's not very much color, is it? Yeah, it's a little bit light. Maybe we do need to go a little bit darker. We're going to leave that there. Yeah, you've heard me say purple is purple, brown is brown. All right, let's bring in the darker. And we're not going to go over the whole thing. We're just going to... Oh, that's better. And we're going to do the same thing down here. Like that. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's better. Now, shouldn't have moved them, though, should I? Somebody didn't tell me. One of y'all should have told me. Now, I need to line them back up. All right, Lori, goofy girl. Because I want to add a little bit of the green. Right there. All right, so the purple's done. Let's go with this green. Oh, hold on. Okay, let's get out our brush here for the green. Don't move. Let's do our green. Getting it all over my hands. Okay. All right, I think that's enough. Now, I think I do want to put around the edges. I want to put something around the edges of it. Oop, get off of there. Oh, I need this out of it. Now, I do keep the brushes in the little plastic bags that they came in case anybody's wondering, so that the ink doesn't get all over the place. I don't know that that's needed, but it helps keep the little box that I have them in a little bit cleaner, because otherwise it just gets everywhere. Okay, so I think around the edges of this, because you are going to see it. Now, where's the black? I'm just touching it a little bit. Just a little teeny tiny bit, because I don't want it to be this natural color. Okay. All right, let's put that in there. Okay, I'm done with this. Now, and I'm done with these. Okay, so on here, I want to rough up these corners a little bit. Now, I will give Pam credit for these corners, because in her video, she roughs up these corners a little bit. And I know I'm going to have to re-ink these corners. And I really liked that these corners were a little rounded. Now, I don't know if she used the same. I don't remember. the same type of board that I'm using, so I have to be gentle. But I do like a rounded corner. And I do think I'm going to have to re-ink these corners. But I like the rounded corner better than the sharp pokey corner. Oh, see? Doesn't that look better? All right, I'm going to put this messy little sand block away. All right. Now I have this shiny gold stuff. It's called luster wax, and I don't ever get to play with it. Ever. I don't ever get to play with it because I always forget I have it. So I did a challenge with the Friendly Quail over the summer, and I got to use it. This was part of the challenge, and oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So I think I'm going to use this. It smells like oranges, and this is by Sizzix, and it's called Gold Luster Wax, and it smells like oranges. So I don't mind it, except it's kind of hard to get off my finger. And I like the fact it's very smooth. It's smooth like wax. There, see? But I thought since we're doing a special little book, I thought, well, maybe we would just whoop-de-doo it up the center here a little bit. Now see, it's not solid. It's just got highlights on it. I didn't make it solid. You can still see the black. You can still see the natural. You can still see the top. And I'm just taking what's left on my finger and just kind of rubbing it over it. And like I said, you're going to only see bits and pieces of this. And I'm just kind of using it to clean my finger off. But as we flip through the book, you know, you're going to see the bits and pieces of that. So let's clean that my finger off. And now let's wipe the ink off of our stencil. Okay. There, that came off pretty easily. All right, let's put that away. And I'm going to put this over here to dry. And I was going to put butterflies, you know, on there, but I like it just the way it is, so I don't think I am. But I am going to move this one over here to dry. And I'm going to give this luster wax an opportunity to dry before I do anything else with it. I think I'm done with this for now. So I'm going to put it back under the corner of my mat. Okay. Oh, you know what we forgot to stamp? We forgot to stamp our ladybugs. Oh, darn. We have to stamp our ladybugs. So, we're going to have to find a good spot for our ladybugs. Okay. All right, so where are we going to stamp them? All right, so let's clean off the stamp here. Let's take off the... There we go. I think I'm going to put them right down here at the bottom. Oh, yeah, right down here at the bottom. There we go. There's our ladybugs. Right down there at the bottom. Yeah, always have to have our ladybug stamp. There. Okay. All right, they go up here. And that goes back in there. Shoo! Can't leave our ladybugs out, can we? Heavens to Murgatroyd. Okay, So while that's drying, and before we can put it in our book, let me get everything off my fingers so I don't get it on anything else. Let's put, whoops, the doodles. Let's put that over there. Now let me see what kind of time we have. Okay, we're good. So what we'll have to do next is we need to get the placement on here. So we know that this is 7.5 inches long. Okay, so you're going to need your ruler, and you're going to need to line it up on your mat. Whether it be a big mat, whether it be a little mat, it doesn't matter. You need to line it up somewhere where you can make sure it's straight, okay? And you need to find the center. So here's my center. Oh, let me make sure I'm straight here. Okay. Now let me make sure you can see. Okay, you can. Now I'm going to use 2 rulers so I can make sure that I stay straight. Because I need to make sure I stay against that line above me. Right there. Now if you have a centering ruler, you can use that. Okay, so now I'm straight. Okay, there we go. So now I'm straight. Okay, and I know because my little plastic ruler here is against that top line, and my metal ruler is holding it still, so I can't move it. So I'm going to hold these 2 down. Okay, so half of 7 is 3.5, so 3.25, right about here is my center, but I'm not going to have anything in the center because I have 4 signatures. So my 4 signatures, but I still need to know where half is. So I'm just going to lightly put a dot so I know that that's center. Okay, let me bring it down here. Let me make this a little bit bigger because you still need to know where your center is. Okay, and let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, you still need to know where your center is. Right here's my center. Okay, so I can give myself my 4 dots. Okay, I need to turn this. Whoops, I can't turn it like that, can I? Well, Lori. But I can still line this up, and I can use this to keep it straight. Okay, I need to stay straight. Okay, can you see it? I don't think you can. I think I moved it up out of your range. Let me get it back. Okay, now all this little plastic ruler's doing is keeping it straight. That's all it's doing. It's just keeping it. I'm just keeping it on the line. That's all I'm doing. Well, maybe that's all I'm doing. All right, I just want to bring it down. I want to show you what I'm doing down here. I'm just using this plastic ruler here. I'm even going to turn it over. Okay, I'm just keeping it straight. Okay, so what I've done, okay, let me show you here. The easiest way is to line up your left edge. Let me get it lined up here. Line up your left edge against a number like this, okay? Line it up. Now, down here at the bottom of your mat, you have all these little lines. See them down here? Now, you know you are going to have 4 signatures. well, let me take that back. I'm going to have 4 signatures. So I need to be able to place 4 signatures in my journal. So as I look at this in my placement, I need to be able to have 4 signatures. So as I look at this, I know I can't have one right here on my very edge, but I know I can have one here at 2 little lines over. So I'm just going to make myself a little dot. Okay, and I know you can't see that yet. And then I can go 2 lines over, 2 lines over, and 2 lines over. And I can say to myself, is that going to work? Well, no, that's just giving me 3 signatures. Okay, so this is how I work things out. So I erase that little dot. Now I go back and say, okay, so if that's not going to work, Lori, how are you going to get 4 in this 1.5 inches? Now, I don't like math. I don't do math. And I'm doing this for those of you that don't like to do math. Okay? So I'm doing this way for those of you that don't like to do math. You don't like to sit and figure. You don't like to get out your calculators. So I'm doing it this way for those of you that don't like to do math. So I know I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 line over, I can do 1. Skip 1, 1 line over, I can do 1. Skip 1, 1 line over, I can do 1, skip 1, 1 line over. Well, looky there, my mat helped me with my placement. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to flip it around. Now let me show you. I'll scoot it down. I'm on my very edge, 1 line right there. Can you see it? Skip the next line, 1 line right there. Skip the center, which would be the half mark. Go to the next one, which is right there. Skip the next one, go to the next one. Now we have 4 evenly spaced marks. Okay, now remember that halfway point that we fixed? Now you're going to take your ruler and you're going to line them up. Now, to do this, it's easier if you have a clear ruler, even if it's not like clear, even if it's maybe purple or pink or, something like that. It's easier than if you have a remember that halfway point that we did a couple minutes ago? Draw your line up to that halfway area and put your line. There's 1. Now, yeah, you can do all the paper folding. You can do all the other craziness if you want. But what if you're someplace and you can't do that? And you're trying to show somebody who maybe just doesn't get it. Okay? You're trying to show somebody who just doesn't get the paper fold. They just don't get it. take out my center dot. You know, you're trying to show a friend or somebody. You fold here, you fold there, you fold here, you fold there, and they're looking at you like you've got 6 heads. Oops, that line's not straight. And these in the center, they're not straight. This one's not where it's supposed to be. And look, if you look, I have too much space between here and here. See my center? See my center? And these two are too close. So this one I didn't draw straight. It's way crooked. So I need to move this one and this one because they're not straight. So by doing it this way, I can, before I ever punch, I can see that, oh man, I did not put that in straight. So it needs to come over because I didn't do it straight. Because up here, they're even. I just didn't draw it straight. So before you do anything else, line them up. Remember those lines on the bottom? Line them up and draw it down. Because it'll happen. It will happen. I guarantee you it'll happen. Now, if you can fold your paper and you can make it happen, you go for it. There we go. Now I got it. Now, the same with this one. Right there. And then you can just very easily erase your light pencil line. Now, before you do anything else, now you need to take something that's a little bit darker and you need to make your dots a little bit darker so you can see them. Now, you can either punch through them with your awl, or you can punch through them with this. Whichever you prefer. Whichever you prefer. So this is the Crocodile Big Bite. You can punch through them with that, or you can punch through them with your awl, whichever you prefer to do. So in our next video, we're going to be punching our holes, and we're going to be working on our signatures. So when we come back in part 3, we're going to be getting our holes in. We're going to be getting our signatures in, and or our signatures together. And I'm going to show you how I get my signatures measured, how I get them cut to size. And we'll get our holes punched in here, and then we'll move on. So I want to thank you today for joining me as we play around with our little journal. And I hope that you learn something new, a different way that you can measure your holes and use your mat. You know, these expensive mats that we spend so much money on. And sometimes we don't use them, you know. They just look cute on our desks. But we don't really use them. We don't have a purpose for them. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new with it. And I hope you enjoyed decorating your spine. And if it's something that you think that you'll be doing with us, I hope that you do. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. You can email me. And don't forget that you can like and share. And until I see you in part 3 of this video, ta-ta for now.